BTC up 1.5% as attention turns to June CPI and PPI readings, according to Bitcoin price prediction. Today's market price for Bitcoin is $30,492, up more than 1% from Tuesday. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Chair, Gary Gensler, is being criticized by a Ripple attorney, who labels him a bad faith regulator, in response to the SEC's approval of Grayscale's Bitcoin Futures Exchange Traded Fund, ETF. The cryptocurrency market continues to garner attention. The Consumer Price Index, CPI, and Producer Price Index, PPI, figures for June are of particular interest to investors. These economic indicators will give important information on inflationary pressures and general economic performance, affecting market mood and perhaps affecting the movement of Bitcoin's price. Gary Gensler is branded a bad faith regulator by a Ripple attorney as the SEC approves Grayscale's Bitcoin Futures ETF. The leveraged ETF and BTC short ETF are now among the products that are permissible thanks to the SEC's approval of Grayscale's Bitcoin Futures ETF. A discussion on the SEC's position on spot Bitcoin ETFs, which pose fewer risks, has been prompted by this decision. In contrast to his predecessor, Jay Clayton, who provided more sage guidance, Ripple's attorney has charged SEC Chair Gary Gensler with being a bad faith regulator. The leveraged ETF and BTC short ETF are now among the products that are permissible thanks to the SEC's approval of Grayscale's Bitcoin Futures ETF. A discussion on the SEC's position on spot Bitcoin ETFs, which pose fewer risks, has been prompted by this decision. In contrast to his predecessor, Jay Clayton, who provided more sage guidance, Ripple's attorney has charged SEC Chair Gary Gensler with being a bad faith regulator. Despite comparable flaws present in BTC futures ETFs that were approved, the SEC regarded the proposal for listing and trading the trust shares too vague to address worries of manipulation and fraud. Grayscale has asked the court for clarification on the definition of unfairness, and its chief legal officer, Craig Salm, has proposed three possible answers. For instance, before approving the most recent spot Bitcoin ETF registrations, the prior Grayscale application to convert GBTC to spot BTC ETFs needed to be approved. Salm suggests that the SEC either offer an alternative explanation for rejecting spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, ETFs, or treat all types of funds equally, which would necessitate a thorough reorganization of the BTC futures ETFs. The SEC's approval of Bitcoin futures ETFs, along with the expanding market accessibility and widespread acceptance of items related to Bitcoin, have all contributed to the rising trend of BTC by generating rumors about future regulatory approval for spot ETFs. Pay attention to the June CPI and PPI readings, important inflation indicators. Inflation data will once again be in the spotlight this week with the release of the U.S. June Consumer Price Index, CPI, and Producer Price Index, PPI. These reports are important because they may have an effect on how the Federal Reserve decides to set interest rates. Investors will keep a watchful eye out for any signs of rising inflation that would cause the Federal Reserve to rethink its decision to raise interest rates by 25 basis points. The Fed's pivot towards a more hawkish attitude after stopping rate rises last month will depend on the inflationary pressures in the economy. Despite the fact that the Fed's actions have assisted in bringing the CPI down from 9% in August 2022 to 4% in May, worries about a potential breach that could have negative effects on the economy are growing. BTC prices on Tuesday are being somewhat influenced by the upcoming announcement of the CPI on Wednesday. Price prediction for Bitcoin. Although there is currently resistance around the $31,000 mark, Bitcoin is able to stay just slightly above it, at about $31,050. On the daily timescale, the presence of a bullish engulfing candle suggests a strong likelihood of a positive trend. A good break over $31,350 would move Bitcoin towards the next objective at about $32,500 or possibly even higher at about $34,150. Resistance is seen near this level. The immediate support levels are around $30,300 or perhaps around $29,650, which is a drawback. If $29,650 is breached, there may be a slide towards $28,650 or perhaps lower towards $27,900. Therefore, it is essential to keep a careful eye on the $31,000 level as it may signal a good time to buy Bitcoin.